Right, kit review time. Today we've got the Merit. This is the US M19 tank transporter, which has got the hard top on the cab. Okay, soft top on the back there, but hard top over the actual cab area itself. It's 1/350th scale. We dealt with Merit before. We do like their stuff. Pretty good stuff. So, as you can see, very nice box art on there. What you can expect in the box, I can fit it all in. So as I say, we've got the decal call out for it, like there. Got the kit number there, so it's kit number 63501. Okay, and then some more on it, showing you about the photo etch which is in there, and okay, you've got the sort of Chinglish thing there about the manufacturing of everything else, and a nice overalls like that. So in the box, which says it's age 14 and over. Okay, so we're going to have to have that that way. As you can see, big old box full of stuff here. So we might as well have a look at this first. So you've got some decals down in here already, okay, and looking at those, they look extremely flat, okay, how well the light will catch on them. But they do look very, very flat, okay, but they all look quite nice. Very nicely done, and the as you can see there on the carry film, it's actually around the numbers as well, so it's not like blocks of, which is quite a nice touch. And obviously we've got some call outs down in there, so that's the Star Decals one. Full colour pull out sheet. Merit, you might notice, are very much like Trumpeter in their call outs and things like that, amazingly. Okay, so as you can see, there's your full colour call out for it. Pretty good because you're just in the overall, but your weathering is where it comes into play with this one. Pretty good. And as you can see from here, you've got the wheels internally and then the outside as well. So pretty much everything going on there to try and spread the weight load. Okay, so inside the box, if we sort of have a dive around in here. So first box up, we've got this one. And as I say, this, as far as I know, has never been opened before. So, in the little box here, we have bag of tyres. Okay, we just drop the top can just down a little bit. Okay, so the tyres themselves, if we just grab one out, we can have a look, see what we've got. Obviously, lots of tyres, as you can imagine. Pretty good. No real centre seam on these again, which is quite a nice touch. The walls on them are pretty good as well. We've got no trades on the walls, but as you say, that's not too bad. And who knows, they probably did have them anyway in those days. Alright, so I'll get that one in a minute. We've got the actual cab itself. Okay, one-piece mould. Very nicely done down in there as well for the M19, as you can see. So that is your hard top cab. So I'm assuming they do a soft top, do a rack top version of this as well. Little ejector pin marks in there, but nothing you go overboard about. Very nicely done for a one piece like that. Saves having to put things together. More wheels for the trailer, as you can see. Lots and lots and lots and lots of wheels. Tons of wheels there, alright. So that's that one. Then we've got the deck itself. So if we just whip this out. So we actually have some string for cabling. We discussed that on the live show this week. Is it any good or not? Okay, so the actual deck itself, very flimsy, but obviously we've got supports going to be going in there all over the place. But as you can see, not too bad at all. Not much texture to the top deck, but I don't think you have, but the details are pretty good. We've got no sort of flash or ejector pins or anything else that are bearing through this or anything else like that. So that's pretty good, all of that, no problem at all. Okay, whilst we're in here as well, we've got the clear parts, which because they're on the flat, they're going to be extremely clear, as you can imagine, so no problem with any of those. Alright, and then photo etch, again, as you can see, it's checkerboard photo etch, which you would imagine you're going to get loads of this anyway, but not a lot of point getting that one out. But some nice work there. So we've got some grills and various parts, as you can see. So that's the deck area itself. Okay, so we'll just get that one out the way. Alright, so whilst we're here, in on the old instructions, so we just have to pull that out just a little bit. So, as you can see, it's one of those things, we'll go a little bit more even, there we go, get you all in. Parts call out, as you can imagine, going all the way through. It's all used by the looks of it, right the way in there and everything else. So, starting off with the engine, looks like we've got a nice detailed engine in there, engine block, transmission and things like that, so very nicely done. Manifolds going on, the usual bits and pieces you can imagine, the pulleys, the drives, the cooling systems, all of that going in to give you a very nice detailed engine. Exhaust system being fitted and then starting to work actually on the chassis of the truck itself. Going through, okay, all this work going in there, so obviously you've got things like the drive, the transmissions and all of those going through, being put on to build a very comprehensive chassis straight out of the box, as you can see down here. Release springs all going on there, putting it in, really some very nice detail by the looks of it, some nice build work going into this, okay. And then obviously more transmission work going in at the back, again some nice touches, the way that it's actually going in down here and things like that. Okay, up on the top, working our way through, we're putting those transmissions in and then starting to put in the axles and things like that. Some of the cross member work going in. Wheels, lots of wheels. Okay, so you have got loads of tyres going on this truck. So you can imagine separate fitting hubs, which is quite nice from the side. So that make obviously painting a lot easier and a lot less messing around. Okay. Putting on the actual wheel arches, things like that going in there. Some more structural work going through. Okay, and then this is your checker plate board going down here for the sides going in. Fuel tank system going on. It does look like a very nice truck, you have to say. Okay, the winch system and everything else going in from behind the cab, that's being put all in there. Then we've got the rear deck going down, okay, for the actual truck. As you can see, pretty straightforward with all of that, a spare. Then we've got the internals for the truck going in there, obviously all the drive units and everything else. Truck doors going on, I assume you could probably have them open, close and all the various positions in between, on or off even, and then those beds going down. So it's quite nice because obviously it's a one-piece truck top. It's going to then just plug in with the underside going in and then it plugs on, goes down. Obviously I presume you'd love to have that engine showing after all of that work. Okay, and then onto the rear deck. So you've actually got the system where you've got a one-piece bottom going to go to the top half of that rear deck for the trailer unit, and then it's going to be a case of putting onto it all the separate items, okay, that are going to bring all the structural stuff in there, the fenders, and then it's going to be, as you say, more structural materials going in there for the trailer, and then again working through the actual the wheel systems, okay, to spread that load. And this is what we're talking about for all of those wheels. There's a lot of wheels on this, and all the way through, and then just a case of hooking it all together. Actually looks really nice, I must admit. This is one of those, I don't get excited about, you know, trucks normally, but for this one I could, you know, break a habit of a lifetime and have a go at something like this, especially because I'm working on the actual Ford F350 at the moment. Okay, so first part up, if we just pull these in just a little bit. Okay, so we've got it down here, you've got the dashboard. This is actually, it's quite nice because it's a sprue full of, this is the truck parts, okay, for that cab. So it's the floor, which is checkerboard as well, so obviously it takes a wash and dry brushing really well, and everything else. Steering wheel, tiny little bit of flash around that, nothing you go overboard about. Some little bits of flash on some of the parts, but it's pretty clean. It's not gonna be one of those things that's ever gonna be a problem. Okay, internally, quite nice because we've got no ejector pin marks on these doors at all. They're absolutely fine. Okay, so it's well thought out and put through, and just working through. Can't see any problems on the seat cushions, things like that. No ejector pin marks on any of those. Okay, next one up, engine block. So we can have a look at some of the details from the engine block. So, where are we? Top side F. Okay, sprue F, as you can see here. Again, some nice work. You can see some nice details on this engine block. It does look very, very good. All of that down there, just like that. No problem with any of those. Pretty good stuff all the way through. Not as flashy this sprue, if we're honest. And obviously you got the drive shaft, things like that. Very good. The manifold has even got the Hercules diesel writing on the manifold itself. Oh, well, you guys can pick that out down there, but you can see some nice touches and nice details on that. Okay, what have we got? Fuel tank and some of the structural for the chassis. Okay, so again, sprue A, as you can see, so some very nice bolt detail and things like that. You catch them just down there in the light, you can see them a little bit better. All of these very nicely done. Nice texture on the fuel tank as well. It's not just plastic, it's actually got a texture on of those, so that's very nice. And we've got some of the various items down in here. Clean, no sign of ejector pins on the chassis at all, which is very nice touch. So you've got no actual ejector pins on those whatsoever. Again, it looks like we've been talking about recently how the manufacturers now are thinking about ejector pins and where they should go. Whereas before it was just a case of, well, it needs them, so we just put them there and we'll try and make them as shallow as possible. Now they're thinking ahead and thinking, well, look, if we can get away with not putting them in there, then we won't. Okay. So here we go. This is part. Which one's this? This is K. Okay, so we've got some of the suspension work down there, some of the wheels, some of the smaller parts. Again, all very nice. No real sign of any flash or anything else on any of these. Very nicely done. No problem with any of that at all. Again, we're talking, just saying about it. No ejector pin marks on anything that you'd worry about, and none to be cleaned up, which is the nice thing. Okay, so I'm probably not going to bother getting this one out. This in here, as you can see, is all the hubs and for the wheels we were talking about, so you could paint them all and then fit them afterwards. Be a lot easier. Okay, very nicely done. That's a duplicate of what we've got, so they are all duplicates of what we've got, and we've done that one already. Okay, so down in here we've actually got, again, nice big area like this. Look, there's not a single ejector pin on this plate anywhere. Okay, very nicely done with that one. In fact, none of these have got ejector pins on any of this stuff, which is absolutely nice because it's big areas you'd expect them to have it. Okay, and as I say, you see this webbing, see these marks? You can see it, but you can't feel it. Those are absolutely smooth, so there's nothing in there. What it is, it's from these underneath, but they haven't gone through, so don't worry about that. Generally looking really nice. Quite an exciting kit, this one. It's very nice. The little touches I love is this chain. You've got a chain on this deck. I can catch it in the light there. You can see it. It's absolutely perfect. It looks like there's a bit laying on the top, but it's actually moulded in. Very nicely done indeed. Okay, and then we've got some of the wheel arches. So it's a big old kit, this one. Very nice indeed. So again, moulded in checkerboard, that's what we were talking about. It is absolutely exquisite here on C. Some of these on here, how well your camera can grab it, are opened and clean. Some of them are a little bit flashed over internally. I don't know how easy it would be to clean them out without making a mess, but they're pretty good. No real problems with it. Generally, again, no flash, no ejector pins in any wrong places. In fact, there's none in these wheel arches at all, which is quite incredible how they got that out of the mould. Okay, and everything else, but as I say, very nice details. Everything with nuts and bolts and things like that is nice, crisp, very nicely done. Okay, protective parts. Okay, so we have protective parts, so can we slip it off? We can. So that's protected. So down here, as you can see, we've got the A-frame for the trailer on there. A little bit of cleanup, nothing much. Just got tiny little pegs just down the side on this one down here. Maybe you just want to clean those up just a touch. But generally everywhere else, very nice. Tiny little bit of flash on this one. It's funny, this sprue's a little bit more flashy. Just around these down here, you've actually got a tiny little bit of flash in those. But nothing, again, you would really get excited about. You know, you're not going to start thinking that's horrible, because it's just going to take a little bit of cleanup, and in theory it's very thin as well, so you could do it with a little bit of hot action glue, weld action glue, just run it over it, it will melt it, get rid of it, job done. Again, very, very nice. All of those extremely nice. So now he's got to try and get this back in. Be a miracle if this goes. Get this guy just to hook over. We could pull off the impossible. Look at that, there you go Steve, you're okay. Right, chassis, don't think there's much problem getting this one out. This is that underbed chassis, little bit of flash on it, but it's going to be a doddle to clean that one up and go right the way through, so we're not too worried about that. Again, looking very nice, pretty sharp, all of that everywhere. Okay, what else we got down in here? Some of the engine details and suspension. Okay, just looking at that, some very nice details down in here. Little things like the fan blades have actually got the bolts holding them on. Well, the camera can get in here. But you can actually see that they've actually got the bolts on this one all together, which is really nice. Again, little tiny bits of flash, but nothing to get excited about. Pretty clean sprue, to be honest. Some very nice stuff, some nice detail. The actual, you know, the actual layers of the relief springs down here, very sharply and crisply molded. Okay, it's 2 parts that go together. All the rest of it, pretty good. All of those, no problem at all. Front grille, very nicely done. So a tiny little bit of flash on these guys just down here. You might be able to see it, probably better on the blue than I can do. But yeah, a little bit on there, but nothing you'd worry too much. Okay, and this one here, which I don't think we, seeing as he's plastically bagged, although the tape's so good, can't get in it. Okay, so we've got generally just the details down in here. I'm not going to bother getting them out. That's very nice, just thin parts behind that one. Wheel hubs with the nuts and bolts and everything else looking really nice. Some nice stuff down in there. No real flash anywhere on that one again. It's just very nicely sharply done. And these are obviously, I made a bit of a faux pas here. I take, because this is Steve Sutcliffe's kit that he's lent me to review. So forget those decals. These are obviously for the Australia decals for it, because it's got it for here for the truck and for the trailer. He's obviously bought these as an aftermarket. So looking at those, very nicely done compared to the kit ones. Well, if we just whip these out, we can compare to see how good these are. This is what you're going to get with the kit. As you can see, a bit more shiny. Okay, so that's the difference. Nice flat aftermarket ones. But you've got the instrument panel down there, so some nice details to be put on, all the rest of it, apart from being extremely shiny compared to the other, not too bad at all. So there we go, that is the Merit M19 tank transporter, or transporter in general, and everything else. Big old kit, some very nice detail.